Welcome back, welcome back. Anytime you think it can't get any worse, guess why? It gets 100 times worse. Tonight, the Mets lose probably one of their worst games of the entire year. Worst game. I cannot believe it. If you think they got it, if you think they got the win, or if you think they're going to win the series, one part of the team always finds a way to blow it. Always. Whether it's the bullpen, the starting pitching, or the lineup. One facet of the team is never going to work in line with the other facet of the team. Today was a total disgrace. Unbelievable. They're supposed to be professionals. They're supposed to be a professional team that's making over $350 million. A team that's making a historic amount of money. You can't even put words to it. It's just unbelievable. So in today's video, we're going to look at quotes from Buck Showalter about this horrific game, this loss to the Phillies. We're going to look at quotes from Trea Turner. We're going to look at quotes from the Phillies. We're going to examine what exactly happened in that 8th inning from hell. I mean, it just cannot get any worse. And if you think the Mets are in it, I hear people saying the Mets they got a chance for the wild card. They're only 8 games out. Okay, if you think that this is the team strong enough to withstand a whole season and then do some damage in the playoffs, then you know what? I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you because every time I believe that the Mets are in it, that they got a chance, they fall flat on their face and they go further and further down. Okay. All right. Let's just take a second. Slow down. If you could take a second to like and subscribe, we're going to be covering the Mets going up until the trade deadline and beyond every single second of this. We can't miss it. You can't take your eyes off a train wreck, okay? All right. So like and subscribe. Cannot thank you enough. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for any Met fan, but it is what it is. At least we're here together. Okay. So, okay. Let's look at, the sad thing about it is that people in the media, people all over have been making jokes in the last couple hours, and I don't want to make a video right after the game. I actually wanted to take it all in. I wanted to see what was out there, and everybody's making a joke about this. They're relating this, and I can't believe they're doing this. They're relating this to an implosion, and we all know the sad thing that happened last week about the sub. But you know what? The Mets are a laughingstock. The Mets are a laughingstock right now, and I can't defend them. I cannot defend them. Okay, so let's see this. Quotes. Brett Baty hesitated getting the ball out of his glove. Josh Walker failed to throw the ball over the plate. Jeff Brigham threw his baseballs directly at Phillies hitters. Kyle Schwarber and Trea Turner couldn't escape the wild ones, and the Phillies sluggers were plunked in consecutive at-bats. I mean, you cannot just make this up. The Mets they discover ways to lose this game. Please, take the game. We don't want it. Phillies, you want to be worse than us? No, we want to be worse than you. You can't make it up. Okay, so the Mets simply couldn't get out of their own way. They couldn't get out of their own way. No fundamentals whatsoever in the 8th inning. No fundamentals. It was almost comical. Philly fans were laughing at us. Laughing. We couldn't choke more. Reminiscence of 2007, 2008. Okay, the final tally for those keeping score at home. The Phillies walked 3 times, were hit twice, reached on an error, and had just 1 hit in a 10-batter, 4-run, 8th inning that set off a 7-6 loss for the New York Mets. Okay, now let's look at the quote by Trea Turner. Trea Turner said, "Crazy one, kinda weird, lot of fun." Okay, so that's just a guy just smirking like he's never even seen anything like this. Usually professional players are respectful of the other team, but I mean that's just like smirking. Like I can't even believe how bad another professional team is playing. Unbelievable. Even by the Mets' sometimes feeble standards throughout their history, that was an amazing meltdown. Okay, and this is the quote going around all the papers, going around Twitter, that even for the Mets, who have horrific meltdown after finish, after season, after inning, after all these different horrific things that have happened in our history. This is something that stands out as one of the worst. Oh my God. Okay, so let's look at a quote by manager Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson said, "I'm not sure if I've even seen this before. The chances are unlikely that I did." Oh my God, like the opposing manager? I mean, a guy who's been in baseball for 30, 40, 50 years, he's just basically saying that this is just so bad, I've never even seen it before. Unbelievable. And the Mets, of course, we all know this, they were winning 6-3 going into the 8th inning from hell. That's when, let's detail it. Let's detail it. Walker allowed the first 3 batters to reach base and was yanked for Brigham. Okay, free pass, take your base, you know, and that's one of the worst things in the world. When you are winning a game 6-3, a free pass that's a no-no. That's a no-no. And this is where I'm actually mad at Buck. Guy walks one batter, gone. Okay, you know what? Excuse me, I'm sorry. This stupid 3-batter rule. Okay, and that's the downside of the 3-batter rule. He's got to face 3 batters. God, you know, just when you think you got Buck, you didn't. Okay, all right. So Walker walked 3 batters in a row, reached base. Brigham came in. Brigham got Alan Bohm to go and hit into a tailor-made double play to Brett Beatty, but Beatty hesitated. A low short arm throw to second pulled Jeff McNeil off the base to make it a 6-4, okay? So that was, you got to make this play. You're a major leaguer, your pitcher's struggling, your team is struggling, you're not winning, you have to make this play. If you want to prove that you belong in the major leagues, you have to make this play. It's not just about hitting. When you're a young player, you play defense, and then the bats will come. But if you play good defense, you're going to be up here in the major leagues, and you're going to be up here for a long time. Okay, so bottom line, you got to make this play. Okay, so they asked Beatty after the game, they asked him about the play, and Beatty said, that play needs to be made 10 times out of 10. No excusing. He goes, that cost us the game, that cost us the series, and I'm saying that put the nail in the coffin on the season. I've been saying this for the last week. I'm telling you, and I'm the biggest Met fan in the world. You don't know how big of a Met fan I am. I'm the type of guy, and the reason why I started this channel is because I want Mets content 24/7. I was always scouring everywhere I can. Where can I get the next Mets news? I always wanted to digest that Mets news, and that's why I started this channel. That's how passionate I am about the Mets. And we've never seen anything like this. There's no doubt. Going back to 1969, 1986, even 1992 with Bobby Bonilla, when we had that high-priced team, when we signed all those guys, and you know, obviously I didn't watch that, but I've heard about that. But it pales in comparison to this. 2007 collapse, it pales in comparison. Yes, we spent money in those years, 1992 and 2007 respectively, but we were never number one in the league. We never led the next team by like 80 to 100 million dollars. I mean, we are in a category at our own. We are in a stratosphere by ourselves right now, by ourselves. And you know what? Major League Baseball, they said stuff to Steve Cohen in the beginning of the season. Oh, stop spending money. Oh, you're so much better. But you know what? The experts know, hey, you know what? This is not going to work out. Fans are saying all the time, they love to see us throw $100 million at 40-something-year-olds. Come on. They'd rather us spend money on 40-something-year-olds than when a guy who is 26, 27 gets to free agency, or 28, 29, us signing somebody who can actually be somebody and do something throughout the course of their career. Okay. All right. Wild, yes. Okay. You know what? Let's talk about a couple good things. I got a couple comments from Buck, but I just want to make a comment how Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Those are our only two guys who are decent in this lineup. Those are our only two guys who are decent on this team. If you notice, another guy who is actually starting to be decent is Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer has come on as of late, a little too late, but you can't win on a consistent basis with 2 or 3 guys. The reason why we were trying to develop this roster and pay a significant amount, and, excuse me, I'm not going to say 2 or 3 decent guys. We also have Brandon Nimmo. Starling Marte is mediocre, but you know what I mean. 2 or 3 all-star players and then like 1 or 2 other good players. It's not going to work. You need a solid team, a solid ball club, up and down the lineup, up and down. I mean, last year we had performances guys who just dropped over the table, and I can't say this enough. Jeff McNeil has let me down time and time and time again. I don't know if it's too much worrying about the guy, worrying about his dog. I love seeing that, but that's for off the field. On the field, you got to be the best player you can be, and it's just so fitting that these guys get their contract, $50-something million, and then all of a sudden they just drop off a cliff. They drop off a cliff. Guy wins a batting title, gets a contract. Now he's set for life. And what happened? The work ethic goes down the chute. Players step up in the last year of free agency. It's just so fitting when they're chasing the dollar. The level of execution, the level of play skyrockets. Then when they get the contract, they're done. They're done. I mean, Francisco Lindor to an extent had a rough first year, but you see all these players all the time. They get the contract and they are done. So I mean, the Mets just have to reassess the way they do things. The way are they currently constructed, the way are they doing business right now is not going to work. I say continue what they just started with the Eddie Escobar trade. Continue to unload your veterans who aren't doing much and get value for it. If you got 2 top prospects for Eddie Escobar, you can get a lot more for all these other guys. Keep trading away players. I don't care. I don't care how much the wild card is. I don't care how feasible it is. It's not worth it. It's not worth sacrifices next year and the year beyond. You can't keep mortgaging your future. You can't. It's not going to happen. It's not realistic to long-term success. Steve Cohen knows this. He's fairly new to Major League Baseball, but he's extremely familiar with building something successful. He's extremely familiar with being on top. And he's not on top right now. He's on the bottom. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't like the way it feels. I know he doesn't like the way it feels. This has got to be bothering him. And he was fed a lot of information by his so-called experts. That's why I'm very hesitant to see these so-called experts execute all these impactful trades for the future. I'm hesitant about that. I do like the way the first trade was executed, so that gives me a little bit of a level of comfort. But everything that goes on. Okay, now I promised you a quote from a Buck Showalter, and I just want to mention that to you as well, because we want to see what our fearless leader on the field, his comments are of the bullpen disaster, the 8th inning from hell. Okay. So Buck Showalter, what he was trying, and he didn't go to any of his big time players in that inning, which was mind-boggling to me. Not that we have a lot of great bullpen arms, but Josh Walker and Jeff Brigham, who are these guys? They weren't even supposed to be in the bullpen in the beginning of the year. So it was Brigham and Josh Walker who spit the bit. And Buck Showalter goes, "It's frustrating for the players and for everybody. We've lost 15 out of our last 20 games. We shot every bullet we just about have. We scored some runs and had a chance to open some things up and didn't. That is about the worst quote that I've seen since Buck's been a manager, and probably in the last 5 years since Terry made some nice ones. It's frustrating for the players and everybody. Okay, that's obvious. Stating we've lost 15 out of our last 20, which is pathetic. We shot every bullet we just about had. He's telling you right there, we're done. We're done. We're done. We're not playing the Dodgers. We're not playing Atlanta every season. We're not playing the top tier team. We are playing some crappy teams. We are playing crappy teams. And he's telling us we shot every single bullet that we possibly can. Every single bullet. We scored some runs and had a chance to open some things up and didn't. So Buck right there is saying that's a direct shot at the players right there. I mean, he's saying I've done everything I could. You guys have to perform. You have to execute. I've given everyone a chance. Everybody has failed. Lineup after lineup, pitching, rotation, mix-up, machination. Every way he's worked the bullpen, it has failed. Besides David Robertson, that's the only person who's been successful. So, and it throws insult on it that this is to a Philadelphia, a National League foe, a team that we've had their number over the last year, even going to the beginning of this year. And I'm just going to say this right now, and this is going to be a teaser for our next video. April 20th to April 22nd. April 20th was the day that Max Scherzer got busted for sticky stuff. That was the day. I believe we were hovering around first place. We were 14-7. It was somewhere around that. Then after April 22nd, we've been on one of the worst skids in baseball. Only the A's and the Royals have been worse. So we have been historically bad since then. Historically bad. Now just remember that. Just remember what I said. Max Scherzer was busted for sticky stuff on April 20th. Our team was based on pitching prowess, on pitching being our best weapon. But Max Scherzer, and we were in first place. Our pitchers were doing well. Our bullpen was doing well. Robertson was doing well, and he still is. I give him credit. But our whole team and our whole pitching after April 20th, from April 22nd on, I think we were off on the 21st. We've been one of the worst teams in baseball. We've had one of the worst pitching records in baseball. We've had one of the worst ERAs in baseball since April 20th, when Max Scherzer was busted for sticky stuff. And we are going to have a video coming up about pitching and about what is going on. But that's just a precursor, a bit of a sneak peek. And if you could like and subscribe to our videos, we greatly appreciate that. Please stick around. This, like I said, it's a train wreck. You cannot take your eyes off of it. You can't. I tried to, but I can't. I got to come back to it. I got to figure out what's going on. We got to vent together. If you could like, subscribe, throw your comments out there. What the heck is going on? What do you want to see happen with the team? What do you want to see happen with the team? All right. Thank you so much. Let's go Mets. And I'm going to keep saying this. And I keep proving myself wrong. It can't get any worse, but it probably will. Let's go Mets. And we will speak to you soon.